All of our services are provided by loving, caring, and compassionate employees that want to help start a new life for yourself and your precious children. Fairhaven has a thrift store, Fairhaven Market, that is funded through your tax-deductible donation and is located at 488 Southwest Broad Street in Jessup, Georgia. If you or someone you know are in an abusive relationship, pick up the phone and call 588-9999. There's someone to answer your call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Once again, the number is 588-9999. Don't wait until it's too late to make this call. Thank you, Wayne County, for your continued support. Fairhaven, where the healing begins.
When you have an accident, you, not the insurance company, chooses the body shop, and you only need one estimate. All you have to do is call Jerome Riles at B&C Collision Center in downtown Scriven to deal with the adjusters and insurance company. Whether it's a little ding or a major crash, that B&C Collision Center across from Wasden Cabinet Shop in Scriven, deal with the insurance company so you don't have to. Call them at 579-2274. That's 579-2274. If you're looking for the best looking truck on the road today, stop the search and come to Mike Butch Ford in Blackshear. Drive, push, tow, or haul your trade, and we'll give you top money for it. We will give you $10,000 off on selected new 2015 Ford F-150s at Mike Butch Ford, or save you thousands at 0% interest for 60 months. 2015 Ford F-150s, save up to $10,000 or finance at 0% for 60 months. Come to the house Good Service Built. Buy a new Ford and get free oil and filter changes during your 36,000-mile bumper-to-bumper warranty. Jimmy Rozier, Joey Lee, Gerald Stone, Bart Duncan, Tracy Ross, or Randy Williamson are ready to help you. Remember, $10,000 off for 0% for 60 months on selected 2015 Ford F-150s. This is Sammy Dixon saying thank you. Thank you very much for your business. Stop the search and come to Mike Butch Ford or go to MikeButchFord.com and shop till you drop.
It's time now for the world-famous Butch and Bob Show. Special guest in the studios with us is Superintendent Jay Brinson. Jay, always good to see you. Appreciate you coming in.
Appreciate you having me.
A lot going on. As we've reported, the school board just went through that governance training, and the purpose of that was to talk about facilities plan. As everybody knows, the current 5-year facilities plan was all about building new elementary schools, and that has come to fruition. New school in Jessup, new school in Odom. New school going to be built at Martha Ross Smith. Scriven Elementary's got a brand new school. So the 5-year facilities plan that is currently underway, that was the purpose of it, to upgrade the elementary schools and build new schools.
That's correct. And really, you know, it's taken us a while to kind of satisfy that 5-year facility plan that we've had in place for a long time, and it's been pretty simple. You know, the plan was to update our current elementary schools, you know, because we felt like we did have some very old buildings, and there was a great need there. You know, I have to commend the boards of education before our current board. They've really put us in a unique position that this board's going to be able to make some decisions, and that's what we're going through now. We're required by the state of Georgia to update our 5-year facility plan, you know, every 5 years. Well, we've done that a couple of times, and we've been able to keep the current plan, but here in the next year, 18 months, we're going to be completely finished with that 5-year facility plan. So we're going through the process with the Georgia Department of Education and a consultant, and Leonard McCoy has been working with us officially to update and come up with a facilities plan. Like you mentioned, we had our whole board governance training last week with our board. Again, that's a requirement, but the board chose to focus on, you know, facilities. So we had a consultant from Georgia Leadership Associates come in and work with us to kind of lay out how to maximize all of the different funding and get a good plan moving forward for the future. Again, we're 12, 18 months out before actually being completed with the Odom Elementary and Martha Ross Smith Element projects. And we're also going to take every nickel of the current e-splosh we have in place to, you know, to pay for those buildings. But again, we'll be going back to the voters after that, probably before the e-splosh is out, and that to ask the voters to continue the penny, because we do have some other needs, and the next e-splosh will really get us over the hump, so to speak, and we still have some great needs. I would say, in Jay Brinson's opinion, that probably the top need is, you know, to update or modernize James E. Bacon Elementary School. That's our last elementary school. You know, it's a solid building. It doesn't qualify for any really big money for state participation as far as building new, and that's the reason, you know, there's not going to be a new James E. Bacon Elementary in the plans currently. But there is plans to certainly go in and update it or modernize it, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. That's a building that was the old junior high. It was 8th and 9th grade facility when I come through school, and a lot of other folks. So, and currently we made that transition into a pre-K through 5th grade elementary school several years back when we went to kind of neighborhood schools concept. Well, for example, we've maxed out the electricity in that building. There's a little bit of concern. Mr. Thornton's working on some immediate solutions to the electricity. There's only so much electricity available, and with the technology needs, we have it maxed out. So and then you get into the safety. Well, once you have too many devices on a leg of electricity, and I'm not a specialist in that, it's not safe, and you end up having problems of flipping breakers, and it maybe getting too hot and shorting out or burning up a device, and we certainly don't want to do that. And that's just one example. There's other needs. We have some bathroom needs. We certainly have some pickup, drop-off needs at James E. Bacon. But you're talking about some good money. We need to update the gym, for example. That's still a good solid shell of a building, but we certainly need a new gym floor. We look at our elementary schools now, all of them are going to have air conditioning except James E. Bacon. So that's, in Southeast Georgia, that's a concern, especially with our small children. So that's, again, a big need. We're working at the same time we're working on this plan. We're working with our current architect in the state of Georgia, consultants, to pursue what they call some modernization money. And they mentioned that last week in that training. That's a different program, a newer program, and just come about in the last few years. And you have to qualify. For example, if you have parts of your building that are at least 40 years old, and it's included in your local facilities plan. That's why that plan is so important. Things have to be included in it for it to qualify for state participation in funding. And what they do is they go through the building, and we're trying to schedule that visit now. There's some preliminary information that they need, and they go through every single part of the building, the square footage, the instructional units is what they call it, to see if you qualify for it. Well, we know parts of James E. Bacon is 40 years old, so we feel pretty good about that. There's estimates here that we've run already from our consultant, and we could possibly qualify anywhere up to over $4 million. Now, they're not going to write us a check for $4 million and say, okay, go update your building. There's always that local participation, what they call fair shares, kind of the catchword the state always uses. So that's going to be money that's got to come from our local funds to do that. So remember what I just said, this current E-Splosh that we have in place, we're going to use every nickel plus some to finish up the 2 elementary projects that we have going now. So this, again, will be in the next E-Splosh. We won't be able to really start real big projects on that. Again, we have to maintain what we have. Like I said, Mr. Thornton's working on the electricity needs to solve some of that now. But again, that's something we're folding in, and what we want to come out with this, Bob, is a good plan and that's the reason I'm here. I appreciate you letting me come on once a month to kind of air some things, but we really want to hear from folks right now with what they think we should spend, should target the next E-Splosh for.
As you mentioned, you have to sell it to the community for
Sure.
the vote, so that's why you're looking for the feedback. And like we joked here, Butch and I, now that the buildings have all been upgraded, now it's about stuff.
Use some stuff, right?
And one stuff that was mentioned is the bus fleet. You've been here
That's a tremendous
in the last couple of months talking about how the state used to fund all the buses, and now the state sends maybe enough funding for one bus.
Not even enough for 2. Last year, we didn't get enough money from the state for 1 bus. They always seem kind of partial.
So the reason you're here, like I said, the plan has to be put in place, but the plan has to be sold to the public.
That's
so
right.
What you're looking for feedback from the community, what
Sure.
they think those needs are.
Well,
is it technology? Is it bus fleet? And one thing I know a lot of athletic-minded people are talking about facilities about, when they built a brand new high school, there was this dream that all the brand new facilities were going to go across the street, brand new football stadium, brand new softball complex, baseball field. All that seems to be dashed. That dream has kind of died. So now the board's looking at possibly selling land and making funds and taking those funds and trying to upgrade facilities. Am I correct in that?
And that's right. We're looking at everything. And like I said, no decisions have been made. Let me make sure that's clear. But we are discussing things. We want to explore every avenue, take the feedback we get from the taxpayers. It's their school system. This eSPLOST that we currently have in place, we're certainly going to come back and ask them to, consider continuing it. We're not adding anything. We're just going to continue it. But, all these things that we're talking about, if we don't continue the eSPLOST, that they won't be able to take place, and we'll just maintain what we have. And you're right. Going back to the land you mentioned, a lot of things have changed since 2001, 2002 when we got into the new high school facility, and the idea was to kind of, I was on staff then. Actually, I was coaching then, so I was in those conversations about moving facilities over there. But some things have changed. For example, we own some land on the same side of Joey Williamson that the current high school's on. It's about 27 acres and a little bit of change. But if you remember, that's post 9/11 regulations won't allow us to build anything on that land now. So that land's just there. So the board's deciding if and when they want to do something with it. I mean, that's something we might can generate some funds to, to address some of our immediate athletic needs. I mean, that land was kind of designated directly for athletics. So, I'm not sure what the board would decide, but I'd like to see that, if we're ever generating funds, go directly into athletics. I think that honors the taxpayers' decisions and that board's decisions, I guess, 12, 13 years ago. But there's just a lot of decisions that have to be made. We want to study it and hear from folks to get a good plan in place. That way, when we come back to the voters for eSPLOST, well, we got the plan. We have a prioritized list. And I think it's going to be very important this time to have a prioritized list to go by and decide where people can see it. People want to know where the money's going, and I certainly understand that. The challenge is going to be we're going to have I really think in this next eSPLOST with a good facilities plan that we're working on, we can touch the whole system in all the different areas. And by doing that, Bob, that kind of eases up our, if you do it strategically, it eases up on your local budget. We'll be able to maybe roll back millage a little bit more, maybe address some of the needs that we have. Again, we're in the education business. The only reason we're here is to, educate children and ensure they're learning. We need to get back to some lower class sizes. We need to get back to music and art and our elementary schools and, some other needs that we have in all 8 of our school sites.
Well, the good news is you have time. Like I said,
Right.
the current eSPLOST is still in place. So what do you think the vote on the next eSPLOST will take place? We're looking a year and a half, 2 years. When will that take place?
It just depends. It would definitely take place before this one ends, and we're about a year and a half into this next eSPLOST. The current eSPLOST. So, we'll start the campaign and get it on the ballot whenever that is. It won't be within the next year.
So, like I said, you look for feedback. Anybody out there has any ideas, any concerns, any questions?
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, we've been harping. My big thing is I'm looking for a track somewhere.
Well,
I'd like to see a track
in the area of athletics.
It's a new high school facility with practice field. I'd like to see a track around there. Where
Bob, you can read mine. Just got a text in. The first thing someone wants to see is a new track. A new track.
Yeah. Well, in the area of athletics, I say amen.
That's the one thing athletic-wise that is definitely lacking in Wayne County. Like I said, the poor track. There hasn't been a home track meet. I remember when I came years ago, they used to have track meets at home. It used to be, and it's a great event. If anybody's ever run track and seen a track event, it's a great athletic event. It's something fun for people to come watch. But unfortunately, after the last 7-8 years, every track event we've had has been on the road, right?
Well, that's great. And I reflect back to my coaching days and a lot of the work that I do now, and I'll go back to the basis of if you make something important, kids will make it important. And I look at some of these guys on the football field, baseball field, even the basketball court, some of our other sports. God, how are those guys so fast? They break away, and we don't run them folks down. Well, though we do a great job getting bigger and stronger in our weight program, I'm very proud of. I don't know how much we're developing our speed. We do some things, but again, you need that stage for them to get on and get at the next level. You can only motivate kids so much, out there on the practice field and that sort of thing. I think that would add something to it. So that's a great need. We're looking at maybe a plan to address our immediate needs now here in the next little bit. Again, money's tight, but if we've actually been approached by a donor that's willing to help us out with the track. But again, you don't want to take a donor's good money and throw it after bad. You got to have a plan, and that's what we're trying to decide exactly what we want to do, and ultimately the board will make those decisions.
And I'm sure there's so many needs for the school system. Technology. I keep go to the board meetings to hear about technology. Where do we stand technology-wise when you look at other systems? For our kids, does everybody have an iPad at school now, a computer? How's that work?
No, we're not as in bad a shape, believe it or not, as some folks. When I talk to other superintendents, what we're trying to upgrade, and thankfully the state's giving us some money. The demands for technology has done nothing but go up. Okay, and what I mean by that, we're challenged to have 100% of our testing online here in the next couple of years. So we're really focused our money on the infrastructure. It doesn't matter if you have iPads and those types of things, if you don't have connectivity or if you don't have speed to actually make it work. So right now, that's kind of where the focus is, to get infrastructure in place to be able to add the devices. And of course, devices are only as good as the training and the professional learning with our teachers and so on and so forth. So it's a big deal, and it's ongoing. The technology devices that you have in place, 3 to 5 years, they're obsolete. So you have to continually to pour money in. And that's what I'm hoping this next eSPLOST to kind of get us caught up. And then that's just a ticket item, so to speak, on our eSPLOST list, just like with buses. It's going to take us a couple of eSPLOST to get our bus fleet back up to where it should be. Our mechanics do a great job, but we're losing that battle. They do a great job, but a bus only lasts so long. You only piecemeal it back together so much before you start, sacrificing the integrity of safety.
As you mentioned, it's a sales pitch. Have to get people, and want to stress, you're not adding a tax, you're just continuing what's already on the books, but still, it's still a sales pitch, still has to go out and sell to the community. So I know that's an undertaking in itself.
And anytime you mention the word taxes, everybody gets, has their opinions and start, voicing it, and they certainly, that's their right. But we want folks to have good information. I found when people have good information, they can make good choices. And I'll just, make a comment that a lot of communities say that, education is the cornerstone of that community. I'll say in Wayne County, I think it's the centerpiece I think we're still the second largest employer in this community. We deal with pretty much the whole entire county, the whole 30,000. I think everybody in the county has at least one person either attending the school system or maybe working for it. So and it's important to them. You see how we rally around, our kids when they perform. Our drama department just won the one-act play. Tremendous accomplishments. A softball team, another region championship in the Elite Eight again. Look for cross country to do well. Or Arthur Williams football is defending their conference championship tomorrow, I believe, over Jeff Davis. So all those things people rally around. Well, I'll just challenge our community to consider that. Let's put our money where the mouth is, and let's get to the next level. Provide. We get caught up in what'd y'all do last year? Well, we got by last year, but we can make it better. I promise you. There's some things, and things are getting a little bit better financially. But I guess I should say I'm cautiously optimistic. But those big pieces that we've kind of had to put on the back burner for so many years, it's never going to get that rosy where we can just come in and boom, we're going to buy 5 buses this year, and we're going to get our technology in every school up to speed. That takes a lot of money, and that's the eSPLOST type project.
If you just joined us, our guest is Superintendent Jay Brinson talking about facilities. Any possibility of community forum where you have people come in the auditorium one time and talk about what they'd like to see?
I've been asked, you going on the Butch and Bob show? And they're going to text and anyway, throw them bombs at you. I think that's important. So I'm not afraid to have a community forum and answer those questions. I don't know if our board, I'm not going to commit them, of course, but I'm not afraid to, sit and let folks show up and ask questions. Some I might not be able to answer, or need to be ready for the answer.
We ask people all the time to get involved. Though,
sure.
like I said, it's just like teacher-parent conferences. You want parents involved in their kids' education. So
yeah, the education process is a tough one, and our teachers work extremely hard, and I feel like they do a good job. Can we get better? Absolutely, and that's the challenge to everyone in the school system is continuous improvement. But we need help. I told somebody yesterday, we've done the math. If you look at the amount of time in a calendar year, all right, 365 days, 24 hours a day, we only have children about 15% of the time. The other 85%, they're somewhere else, all right, in our community, they're at our homes. So that's why the educational process works a lot better when we have that involvement. If it just does, they need that reinforcement, they need that help, and it's not an easy thing. It's not.
Again, it's nice to see. Speaking of the new schools that are being built, both Odom and Martha Rawls are underway. How's the Odom school? I understand that's coming along pretty well.
Very well. Very, very pleased. TQ Constructors and Craig Buckley's architect, they're meeting Mr. Thornton and myself every 2 weeks to update us. We feel like we're really in a good place there. The Martha Rawls Smith project's right where it should be currently. They're finishing up clearing the land, and they're actually should be finished here in the next week or so.
But Odom's still on target next year. They'll be moving in that new building. Right?
Good shape. I can't say. We're very pleased with the progress so far, and they're doing a great job.
And we talked about new schools. Let's go back to James E. Bacon, because they said that's the one school that's not going to have a new facility. But there were discussions possibly of when Martha Rawls Smith new building gets built, the current Martha Rawls Smith, the board office possibly going over there and then using where the board office is now to help that campus as well with some other land and some playground equipment, things like that. Is that still in the works? Is that still a discussion?
That's an option. That's certainly an option. Again, no final decision has been made, but we feel like, we certainly don't want to walk away from the Martha Rawls Smith site. There's a lot of historic value and community pride with the facility there. Now, the school system, I don't think that we're going to be able to afford to keep up a whole separate facility, so we will have to decide what we're going to do. There's been a little bit of discussion with the city about maybe utilizing part of that. As far as the school system right now, we have talked briefly about possibly moving the board office over there, maybe utilizing the media center for some storage. Again, that's just real preliminary conversations, and that would, like you said, free up some area to expand that James E. Bacon playground, maybe gives another softball practice area. We got kind of baseball, softball on top of each other to give us for practice area. Plus, again, the old coaches coming out in me, elementary school, you kind of need a field, whether you're playing kickball or any of those lead-up games. I'm just a big fan of that. At a young age, that's how you get kids moving.
Talk about the new program there for James E. Bacon. Like I said, the renovation thing. That's been discussed several times. That's a statewide program. They began. They said it has to qualify. You mentioned some qualifications. Has to be a 40-year-old building, things like that. So James E. Bacon qualifies for this new program the state's talking about. Is that correct?
It is. You have to have it. Again, everything has to be in your plan. Once you have it in a approved facilities plan, and again, it's a process. You have to get a plan, and then you work with your consultant, your board of education has to approve it, and then we submit it to the state. Actually, Mike Rowland is actually the one who will sign off on it, and put it where you wait on the General Assembly to approve it as far as the amount of money that you're actually going to get. And so that modernization money is kind of a new program, and that's the large. When I say that over $4 million, you look at other areas. There's renovations. Okay, in comparison, we looked at that. We'd qualify for like 1 million would be the maximum. New construction for James E. Bacon, almost nothing. It was less than $100,000, I believe. And it all depends on what you've done to the building, how old the building is, and how you spent your money in the county. We've kind of used our money on the other two elementary schools as far as capital outlay, their participation in it.
There's an old saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And I just got the perception with Mike Rowland, the position he's in, it's kind of been an outlier for Wayne County.
There's no doubt about that. We have the state.
Nice to go up there.
They look at
to
numbers.
see familiar faces.
Right. All they look at is numbers, instructional units. What I mean by numbers, and it's that square footage, which is numbers, and the number of students that you have in your system. They don't know any dynamics. They don't get into that too much. That's what they look at. And I say that, we have a unique situation in Wayne County where we have, a very, I guess, community, enthusiastic community in Scriven as well as Odom. And Wayne County certainly understands how important those elementary schools are to those communities. Well, Mike Rowland understood that too. And so when that was back when they were qualifying for that capital outlay money. Well, he worked with the specifics of Wayne County to help them qualify or garner as much money or state participation in those two projects as he could.
Right.
And so that was definitely, I guess, who thing. I mean, he understood, and he done a good job. So we're grateful for that.
If you just joined us, Jay Brinson, school superintendent, in with us, getting towards the end of the program.
Let's cut in here. We had a question that's a little bit off topic. Have you heard anything about what classification somebody wanted to know for next year? Are we moving up, down, staying where we are? That's a question that's been on my mind.
I think
been on
the answers are coming this week, right?
Right. Well, actually, I'm the deadline for me to sign off as superintendent is the 29th, which is, I think, Thursday, as far as FTE numbers, the full-time equivalent numbers. So I'll be signing off on that Thursday. They go in, they kind of do their thing. So I would look something maybe a week or so after that for as far as preliminary. Well, it won't be preliminary, it'll be official. They'll start leaking out, and then people will start piecing it together. But Georgia High School, they have to do their thing. And so I guess the final say so, I don't look forward until after Christmas. Now, you'll have a good idea before.
Do you see the Super 44 as a good thing or a bad thing for us? Pushing all those people up.
It's hard to tell. I don't know. I kind of, based on my experience as a high school principal, I'm a little concerned because I know we've been right on the cusp of the largest 4A school in that classification. So I'm a little worried about. It's all about where the cut is, what the percentage is,
because they could push us up to 5A, which is where we're hoping
and it's all
not
about,
to.
And they do those percentages. If you look at it real close, they'll do like 18% to 21% in this classification because that's their finagle room to make sure you got a viable region as far as travel, competition, that sort of thing. But based on the information I got, I do think either way we're going to have a great region to play in for our kids.
Well, I said the last couple of regions, the Augusta region was really a tough thing for travel, and this region's not as bad. But that trip Friday night was pretty far for a region for a high school ball game.
16, 17-year-old kids.
So you think they would look a little bit more at that, but apparently they don't. So, I mean, that just amazes me.
And I'll be fair to them. You look where we are geographically. There's nowhere to go south or east of us, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? So we are kind of on the end, and we're quad A, we're odd. If we were that AA, AAA number, there's plenty of folks to play that size. So there's just nobody really our size around us very much. Everybody's a little bit bigger.
We'll look forward to that information on Thursday. Like I said, that information is supposed to leak out by the Georgia High School Association this coming Thursday. Decisions are going to be made where everybody's going to wind up, so that should be fun. But you're always welcome here on the show. I appreciate you coming in because, like I said, that's what it's for, to get the information out, let people know what's going on. Like I said, that's what people want, the correct information.
Trying to be accessible as we can. I got my cell phone number on my business card, so if I can answer any questions from the board office or for the school, start with your principal. They're probably going to have a little bit better information at each school site, but in this area for us planning, we certainly want to hear from you, and there'll be some more opportunities, but I appreciate you guys letting me come on once a month just to kind of hash some things out, take a few texts, a few questions.
Always a pleasure. Appreciate you being here.
Appreciate you.
That'll do it for the world famous Butch and Bob show here on a Tuesday morning. Again, Jonathan's going to take you up to 9 o'clock today.
This is Bill Parker with Parker Insurance and Realty, your locally owned and operated independent insurance agency. We specialize in home, auto, commercial, ATV, motorcycle, and boat insurance. Being an independent agency, we have the ability to find you the best price available to suit your insurance need. At Parker Insurance and Realty, we can help you package your insurance or find the specialty insurance required to get you covered. We are your source for any real estate needs, whether buying or selling. We can help you. Give us a call today so we can discuss your insurance or real estate needs. Parker Insurance and Realty, 265 South Macon Street, 427-9345. That's 427-9345.
October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Fairhaven, it's where the healing begins. We are an emergency nonprofit domestic violence shelter that serves Wayne, Appling, and Jeff Davis counties. All of our services are provided by loving, caring, and compassionate employees that want to help start a new life for yourself and your precious children. Fairhaven has a thrift store, Fairhaven Market, that is funded through your tax-deductible donation and is located at 488 Southwest Broad Street in Jessup, Georgia. If you or someone you know are in an abusive relationship, pick up the phone and call 588-9999. There's someone to answer your call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Once again, the number is 588-9999. Don't wait until it's too late to make this call. Thank you, Wayne County, for your continued support. Fairhaven, where the healing begins.
World famous Butch and Bob show here on this Tuesday morning, and before we go, Bob, let's show off your prize here for 5th place in kissing a pig here to the camera. This is your Golden Sow Award to go with your Silver Sow Award that you won.
Man, you just go ahead and put that in your office, Jonathan.
No, that's okay, Bob. I'll let you have it. You've got so many trophies over there in the sports cave. But there you go. If you can see that, that is Bob's trophy for kissing a pig.
There you go.
All right,
It's a nice trophy.
It is very nice. I like that. Do we have anything? So somebody did want to know what our FTE numbers were. They texted in while we were in break.
There were about 100 students. I think we're at 14, maybe 1470 something.
So we're right on the cusp, though, depending on how they come up with their
go up.
numbers, and we may move up. Probably be the smallest school in the next.
And nobody knows how that. Right. We don't know how that. Magic 44, big 44 is going to affect us, because my understanding is it's going up more than 44. You know, they're going to have allow some folks to add to that, so you never know when you get in percentages of each classification.
All right, so we've done everything we need to do this morning. All right, great. World famous Butch and Bob show on this Tuesday morning is brought to you by Parker Insurance, Jessup Premium Storage, BNC Collision Center, and Mike Birch Ford. Good morning, 829 here at WIFO-FM.
If you're looking for the best looking truck on the road today, stop the search and come to Mike Birch Ford in Blackshear. Drive, push, tow, or haul your trade, and we'll give you top money for it. We will give you $10,000 off on selected new 2015 Ford F-150s at Mike Birch Ford. Or save you thousands at 0% interest for 60 months. 2015 Ford F-150s, save up to $10,000 or finance at 0% for 60 months. Come to the house, get service built. Buy a new Ford and get free oil and filter changes during your 36,000-mile bumper-to-bumper warranty. Timmy Rozier, Joey Lee, Gerald Stone, Bart Duncan, Tracy Ross, or Randy Williamson are ready to help you. Remember, $10,000 off for 0% for 60 months on selected 2015 Ford F-150s. This is Sammy Dixon saying thank you. Thank you very much for your business. Stop the search and come to Mike Birch Ford, or go to MikeBirchFord.com and shop till you drop.
When you have an accident, you, not the insurance company, chooses the body shop, and you only need one estimate. All you have to do is call Jerome Riles at BNC Collision Center in downtown Scriven to deal with the adjusters and insurance company. Whether it's a little ding or a major crash, that BNC Collision Center across from Wasson Cabinet Shop in Scriven, deal with the insurance company so you don't have to. Call them at 579-2274. That's 579-2274.
WIFO-FM Big Dog Country. You're still here, Bob. The show's over. Go home. Remember that at the end of Ferris Bueller? You're still here in the credits? The movie's over. Go home. Doom, dum, dum. We've got a meeting, don't we, this morning at 9? That's why you're hanging around in here. Okay. All right, at 8:31, good morning from WIFO-FM. Time to get a quick update from Fox News Radio on this Tuesday morning here at the Big Dog.
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony. There may not be a showdown over raising the debt limit next month or a government shutdown in December. There's a budget deal in place to avoid all that. Fox News Radio's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Republican House leaders reached the late-night budget agreement with the White House, putting off spending fights through 2016. The agreement, which gives the Pentagon and domestic agencies $80 billion of relief in exchange for cuts elsewhere, is expected to get a vote tomorrow. Some conservative groups say the deal represents the worst of Washington. Republican Darrell Issa said it was important to strike an agreement before Paul Ryan is elected House Speaker. Dave.
Now, Rachel, they haven't been happy, those conservatives, with Speaker John Boehner, who's about to leave. The vote to replace him, likely with Paul Ryan, is set for later this week. President Obama will go to Chicago today to address a conference of police chiefs at a time of increased murders in many U.S. cities. FBI Director James Comey has a theory.
He says violent crime is on the rise due to a hesitancy among police to effectively combat crime. He calls it the Ferguson effect.
Talks as Kelly Wright. The White House disputes Comey.